It's Monday morning. Hello everyone, welcome back to my studio. This is Emma. It's a lovely morning here in Cumbria. It's been raining. We've had a lot of rain, which is great because the garden and the land certainly needs it. But the sun is out as well, so I think we're going to have one of those days when I'm filming when it's kind of a bit grey 1 minute and then the sun's going to come out. So I'll probably spend most of the morning putting my blinds up and down to try and sort of keep the light as even as I can get it. So please bear with, as they say. So welcome back. It's another Monday morning here. I hope you've had a nice weekend, whatever you've been doing. I can't quite remember what I got up to, but it was all sorts of little bits and pieces, which was very nice. I'm still, would you believe it, I'm still clearing out of my studio. I've obviously got something going on here. I've been working in here full time probably for about 10 years, I suppose. And it's a bit like when you're in a house. Unbeknownst to you, things kind of accumulate in the corners and you think, well, I'll just keep this and I'll just keep that. And as an artist, it's very easy to do that because you think, well, everything is something to inspire me. So I have collections of rust, I've got collections of shells, I've got collections of threads and fabrics, obviously, and all manner of excuses to keep all this stuff. And I just felt this really big urge that I need to really clear the decks, get back to basics, get back to sort of who I am, refocusing, clearing, you know, literally physically clearing space. I had a beautiful haberdashery chest, well, you know, one of those ones with lots and lots of drawers in from an old-fashioned department store, and it actually came from my grandfather's department store in Newcastle. He had a store back in the 1930s, many years ago, and it's been my companion for, I don't know, a very long time, 20 odd years maybe, and I've kept all my fabrics in it, and suddenly I just thought, no, it's time for you to go. So it's gone, but it's gone to a lovely couple of people who are going to use it in their new sewing venture, so I'm very excited about that. So I don't quite know where I am today. I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, if you weren't here last week, this is what we finished off last week, some seed heads, which was full of surprises. And it was all a surprise to me, really, how it ended up. I had no idea that's what it was going to look like. And that's the thing about playing with your fabrics. When you just play with things and you just start the process off, things can just come through. And, you know, you have to kind of start. It's no good sitting there going, oh, well, I really don't know what to do, because it's very tempting to do that sometimes when I come in here. It's quite, especially if you've got something on that you need to do, like make a film for people to see or make work for an exhibition, or just justify your existence as an artist. Sometimes it's a bit strange, really. And so this is why I love doing my YouTube, because my YouTube gives me this sort of grit in my oyster. I love to know that I'm making a film for you and that you're going to see it and we're going to share this process together, and that really warms my heart. So it's all good. And so where am I going with this? No idea. What I'm going to do my usual thing, actually. I know I'm going to do some embellishing, because I know I haven't done any embellishing for ages. I think the last 3 projects have just been straight stitching. So I thought it's time to get the embellisher out, for those of you who like a bit of embellishing. And I'm going to get a box of fabrics out. So literally I'm going to go into my stash, and I'm just going to see what fabrics want to come out to play today. So that's what we're going to do. So please join me on this journey. It's going to be another adventure. Oh, so there we go. What I've brought in is a big box of turquoisey fabrics. And I brought in a bag with lots of lacy bits in. And this is one of my bags that I keep all my scraps in bags, and I keep them in plastic bags. Not the nicest of things, but it means you can see what colours you've got. I probably don't need all of these scraps kept, but you know, they might just come in handy, mightn't they? I'll just keep them for now. We'll see how we get on. So this one I've got lots of sort of yarns and little bits of knitted sort of scraps, and there's a nice lovely turquoisey ball of wool here that's got, like, it's knitted with little coggly bits on it, so that's really nice. And I've got some bigger bits of lace so I can cut strips maybe. So I don't know where this is going, but I think the sea might be involved, going by these colours. Got myself a basket, because that's really helpful to put all your things in so that you've got your project in one place. Especially if you're a bit like me and you've got some stuff going on all over the place. Just helps keep it in a minute. You can carry it around with you wherever you're going, room to room, wherever you need to be in your house to do your sewing. So I'm going to just see what I fancy in this box here. and it's going to be fairly random. I've got all kinds in here, all sorts of things, my usual charity shop bargains that I'm just cutting up willy-nilly. They're nice and soft for going under my embellishing machine, so that's my main criteria, apart from the colour, is what they're going to go under the embellisher. So I'll do this and then I'll show you what I've chosen. So let's see what we're going to do with these. I'll just put this out of the way for a moment so we can see what I've got. Hiding underneath here is a piece of cotton curtain interlining. Now I use this because it's soft, I can embellish into it quite nicely, but it can also give a nice quilted effect to whatever you make. I don't know yet exactly how my embellishing is going to happen, because what you can do is you can embellish things really sort of hard down, or you can embellish things so they're much looser, and this will all become clear as we go through doing this. So I've basically cut myself this piece. It's about 11 by 17, 18, no 18, 11 inches by 18 inches I think was what I came up with. I'm thinking it might just be a hanging that's not going to be framed. It might just be a wall hanging, so keeping it simple but actually making it quite big I thought would be quite nice for a change. And yes, so what I need to do is just cut some fabrics out and see what happens, eh? So let's get a bit of this stuff. This is very much just, let's just cut some fabrics and see what happens. Because this is how you just have to start. I find if I sit here trying to think about it, it doesn't do any good really. It doesn't get me very far, or at least doesn't take me on the adventures that I've been having. I've been having lots and lots of adventures with my fabricating. Now I'm making these quite big because when I embellish these down, if you're used to using an embellisher, you'll know what I'm talking about, and if you're not, well, I will be showing you. This will get scrunched up and it will shrink. So the important thing to do is to cut your pieces, and I want to make each piece wide enough to go around the edges of this, so that I'm going to have, I think, am I going to do that? Or am I going to have a raw edge? I'm saying this, and immediately I'm changing my mind, and I'm thinking, well, actually, what if I actually did raw edges this time? Or am I going to turn them in? What do you think? Well, we'll see. Let's just cut some pieces. I'm making them big enough anyway because they're going to shrink. So I'm going to cut several of these, 2 or 3 of these, and I'll cut some more of the other pieces as well, and then I'll show you, I'll show you what I've come up with by the time I've cut them. So immediately I start to get excited because I'm starting to play. So let's cut one more piece of this, and then I'll cut some of the other pieces and I'll show you where we get to. Okay, so I've cut some pieces and I'm just literally starting. I don't know where this is going exactly, but I know that once I start just playing around with it, ideas can start to come. So, you know, it's almost like you just need to put your first foot on the ladder. You need to just put your first piece of fabric down and then, you know, put another one next to it and see what happens. Now these look a bit strange because they are quite big, and as I say, they will shrink down when I embellish them, so we'll get a different effect. And I'm already starting to think about whether I want to have a dark area down here, whether that would work. Let's just cut the end off this one because I don't like the end on here. Cut that bit off. There we go. So I'm just going to play around. I'm just feeling, well, maybe we'll have some lighter colours up there. So I'm putting this piece on, this lovely organza, and I know it's going to scrunch up, but I'm already thinking that, well, maybe I would like to put that over this colour, so maybe make that bigger so that it's got something to bed down onto, and then it won't just show the colour of this from underneath. What I might do is I might do a little sample. Sometimes I do a little sample piece so that I can embellish down and see what the fabrics actually do. But I think that I think this one will be all right. I think that one's okay, but I think that one needs to go over something. But I do like the idea of having sort of slightly stripy effect down here, so not quite like this, but you'll get the idea. Just playing around with these things. And then I'm looking at this and thinking, well, is it going to have a beach? Do I want a beach down here? And I'm just thinking no, but I might like to put perhaps an island, islands in the sea over here. We're going on holiday up to the Scottish Islands again this summer, and it always involves going on a ferry, and I just love it when you get on the ferry and it takes you out to the islands and you go across the sea, and then all you see in the distance is these beautiful islands sitting there in the sea. So I'm just wondering whether this sort of colour could be a very beautiful sort of shiny light coloured island in the sea. So let's just have a little play with this and cut an islandy sort of shape. So I'm going to cut it across sort of flat to start with. Sorry, it's a bit fiddly, this fabric. I'm going to cut it across to start with, just a sort of an islandy shape. It's a bit like cutting mountains, really. I'm going to make a sort of a flattish base, and then I'm just going to let it be as though it's a mountain in the sea. And this is very rough. I'm just playing. If this doesn't work out, I can cut another piece, okay? Nothing is set in stone. This is playtime. Letting my imagination take me on a little journey somewhere. So I'm just thinking whether that would kind of work going out to sea. But I think I need to cut some more actual pieces. The other thing I want to do actually is cut a bit of this as well and see what effect this would have. So I'll cut a bit of this up as well. Ew, it's not got an endy bit. I need an endy bit. Here we go. Here's an endy bit. Because I just want to kind of cut. I just want to kind of cut it as though it's a bit of a wave on the sea. Cut a couple of those. There we go. Ooh, look at that. I've just spotted this inside of this. It's where they've done some seams or something. Oh no, it's part of the shirt. Look, wasn't that pretty underneath? It's got like... Ooh. Oh, it's amazing what you find when you start cutting things up. Right, so let's just have a little look. It's not looking great at the moment. It's getting a bit confused. Let's just calm it down a little bit. If I put that sort of colour going further up, I wonder. No, I think that colour's going to stay down here. I think we do need a bit more of this colour coming up at the top here. So I've just cut another piece. There we go. Pop that on there. That draws the eye a bit further up. And I'm just wondering whether I might just cut a little bit off here, just to make it a bit more of an island and a bit less of a piece of mainland. If I just trim this down a little bit so it's actually in the middle of the water. Let's just pop that up there. Now this is very, very rough. Okay, I know things don't match and don't tie up, but I'm literally just trying to get a feel for it and see what's going to happen. So it's starting to bring something in. I don't like the way that goes quite so far across. Again, I think we'll just need that to be a bit smaller, as though it's just disappearing into the water. I'm just going to pop that down there for a minute. And in fact, maybe the thing to do is to have perhaps more than one island out there. Perhaps we need more than one island. Let's see what we can do. Let's find another bit to make an island out of. Just make some small ones. Oops. Very badly cut. There we go. I just want to see what effect this has, okay? Oops. Getting tangled. Getting tangled. Here we go. Move that down a bit. I'm just wondering whether if you had, 2 or 3 little islands in the water, they're beginning to look like seals actually. Perhaps they should just be seals. Or dolphins or something. Whales. Perhaps those are whales. See, I quite like that. And then my other thinking was, I'm just wondering whether I would like to add some silver in. This was my lovely water from the last piece that I made, and I really like it. I love the feeling of movement with it. So it might be, I feel as though this piece is going to be about light. It's going to be very, very light. And I'm thinking, well, you could start to have some things like that going on. Okay, so I've just put a few more bits and pieces on here. I've cut some more bits of silver, and I thought, I've been looking at a photograph that I took from the ferry last year, and I've got it up on my computer screen as a screensaver at the moment, and it's just made me think about how the water holds the light in front of the islands here. So I think this is as far as I can go today. I apologise if you can't quite see all of this. I'm going to have to try and figure out some different camera angles for this, I think, because it's a bigger piece than I've shown you up to now, I think. So I'll try and work on how I do that for next time. And I hope you'll join me again next time in my studio for a bit more fabric fun. I hope this is maybe inspiring you to get your fabrics out. Thank you again for all your subscriptions. Thank you for joining me here. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you like this. Do leave me a comment on where you think I might be going with this and what you might do with it and whether you like it so far. Do let me know what you think. And oh yes, and do hit the bell for the notifications, because I know my video was a little bit late going up last week. I try and put it up for about 3 o'clock on a Wednesday, and I kind of set it up to do that. But I had some life events going on last week. I had some things I had to deal with, and it just all the whole timetable shifted a little bit. So if you click for the bell for the notifications, then you won't miss a video. And as I say, I apologise for it being a little bit late. That's what happens, isn't it? Life happens when you're busy making plans. So I'm going to get on with this for next time, and I will see you again in my studio, and that will be just fantastic. So have a lovely, peaceful, creative week, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Lots of love from me to you.